Idaho neighborinos. So it's probably been a year, just over a year, since I last posted a video here on this channel on Trippin Outdoors. So I wanted to let you all know exactly what's going on. So the last year has had obviously a lot of change, a lot of different things. So last I left you guys off on, my aim was to try to get a car, so I can get my license, so I could get a, obviously get my DoorDash job or whatever, and make some money so I can upgrade the gear and also thus go in autumn and winter since it tends to be raining around here. On that front, there has been some good progress. I have managed to obtain a car and I have got my driving lessons. I just now need to get used to whatever car I'm going to use for my driver's test, and then get my driver's test and get my license, and then build from there. It's taken longer than I've wanted it to, but at least it's happening, and I'm happy there's been progress this last year on that front. That said, this last autumn and winter and spring was finally, and I'm very happy about it, is finally back to, or at least as close to normal as possible, that we always had before 2008. It's like 14 straight years of bone dryness and extreme warmth and everything else compared to what we normally have. So finally getting proper consistent showers and rains and downpours and storms and all that was fantastic to finally have that back. I've been wanting that for years. I mean, you think 14 years, that's literally exactly half of my life that had to go by before we finally had the return of our weather. So it's something I'm very happy about. I even made sure I thoroughly enjoyed the last shower of the year that I actually had a feeling was going to be the last shower of the year, because it was, I think, like June 20th or something. And it was forecast to be dry from there. And it's always 24th to 30th in Oregon, Northwest Oregon, for whatever reason, that summer just hits suddenly. So as a result, that meant that I couldn't really make videos last autumn, winter, and spring anyway. And then in the summer, of course, as I mentioned before in some videos that I released obviously last year, I mentioned that I am heat sensitive. So that doesn't help when you're active and out and about in these different places. Another reason why I haven't been able to make any videos this year is because, of course, as I had mentioned there, and it's in the channel description, I am reliant on public transit in my own 2 feet right now to get around. And that is a huge problem when TriMet is already woefully inconsistent and unreliable on good days. Well, it turns out that as of this year, they've had a mass operator shortage, which means that they've been about an average of 50 to 60 max operators short. And they've also been an average of, I think it's 300 bus drivers short this year, throughout the entire year, because they just can't get drivers because it's TriMet. Like, people despise working for them, especially as an operator, and even more so as a bus driver. Bus drivers is the worst fucking job you can have, worst possible job you can have at TriMet. It really is. They treat you like complete crap. They don't give a damn about you, and it's a horrible job. And then obviously, unlike a max operator, it's not just one lever you have to worry about or things like that. It's because in a max train, it's a private cabin, it's locked, you don't have any association with the riders or anything like that, so you don't really have any issues, including like attacks and things like that. You don't have to worry really about anything, and you literally only push a single lever forward and back, which is controlling the amount of power going into and out of the pantograph, which then automatically, so automated in the computer system of the train, it automatically slows it down or speeds it up. So that's it. So they don't really have to worry about almost anything, and plus it's on a track, it's a rail, so of course that's all you have to worry about. The thing is, with bus operators, it's way worse, because you have to deal with literally an infinite amount of issues and have to pay attention fully the entire time without lapse to infinitely more detail and infinitely more things than you would ever in a train or behind your own car. And there's already a lot there, and especially now that I've had the experience, it can be pretty nerve-wracking sometimes. Even if you got used to it, I imagine there's moments where you're like, oh god, you get some anxiety because of traffic or arrogant drivers or whatever else. It's not good to be able to be in a 40-foot sarcophagus of aluminum and plastic down at 40 miles an hour down roads, and having to deal with arrogant drivers and all that, having to deal with the traffic safety, having to deal with the safety of the bus, having to deal with the safety of the passengers, so on and so forth. You have to deal with the passengers and them causing fights and not paying or attacking you or trying to attack you and things like that because they don't have sufficient barriers. Oh, and you're treated like crap, like I said. So it's terrible. And then obviously, because people are people, when they get fed up and sick and tired of something that's TriMet's fault as in management, it's the bus drivers and the operators who get the brunt of it. They get it taken out on them as if it's their problem, even though most often it's of course not that. It's somebody else's, it's management's problem. It's the actual company problem. And there's a lot of other problems with that. So yeah, nobody wants to work for them. And they keep trying to take away more and more benefits. They keep trying to take away more and more pay. So that's why we're still sitting at like 300 bus drivers short. So as a result, there's been consistent cancellations. But the thing is they're not forewarned. It's literally a gamble. You never know when your train is canceled. You never know when your bus is canceled. The only way you know is if you're out there waiting for it and it never comes. Then you know it was canceled. It's literally a gamble. It's a last second thing. It's absolutely terrible. And so that for writers also screws us over, especially those of us that rely on them to get around and do anything, especially if they have a job and they have to use TriMet. Case in point, my mom has been trying to get a job for a while. She went to a job interview and she left really early. She left like 11. And it took her about 8 miles by road. It took her, I think she said, like 2.5 hours by bus to get there. It's just Max Train, a bus that is frequent service, by the way, and then a transfer to another bus. That's it. It's a pretty freaking straight shot, and it took 2.5 hours to get there. This is normal. This is what you have to expect. So as a result, it's like it takes me on average 2 hours to get to my doctor's, and it's pretty much also a straight shot, and it's like 6 to 8 miles by road. As a bird flies, it's probably roughly 4 or 5 miles. And it takes on average, even in pretty heavy traffic, like maybe 40 minutes at most to drive from my place to my doctor's. But it takes me an average of 2 hours by bus. Just a Max Train and a bus, that's it. It's inexcusable, but it's predictable and expected. So as a result, if that's normal and then you have shortages, you're not going to be able to do that, especially with what I do with this channel. You can't make content like that. So as a result, I just have opted not to do anything this year because of that. Those are the main 3 things that I can update you on, and that I can let you know why I haven't output a video since last year, around this time. I think it was actually the end of August. It might not have been, but I think it was. Actually, for proper content for trip reports and videos, outdoors content stuff, it literally was, I think, August that I output that. So it sucks, because I really wanted to make content this year for this channel. I love getting out. It's such a passion of mine. I enjoy it thoroughly, and it sucks that I couldn't do it. Just the overall situation sucks, and that's really the update I can give you guys as to why there hasn't been anything on the channel this year. So I do apologize about that, because it sucks in so many ways, especially on my end, because it doesn't just suck for me, it sucks for you guys too, because, like, where the hell have they been? Where the hell has the content been? It's like, that's where it's been, because it hasn't existed, because it can't really exist because of the circumstances and situations at hand. But at least there's progress towards being able to do it again. So that's always exciting and always a great thing to be able to remember and know and remind myself of, that I'm that much closer. So there you go. I feel like there was something else that I could update you guys on too, but I don't currently remember what it was, and I just know that these were the main 3 things. So yeah, by the end of this year to start of next year, I should be a fully licensed driver with my own car, and thus officially have begun doing my work as a DoorDash driver, so that way, give it another month or two, and I should be able to upgrade my gear so that I can record content even if it's raining and moist and everything outside. So yeah, but other than that, yeah, I apologize for not being around and not updating you guys sooner, but I knew it was time to do it within the last like couple of weeks. It's like it's you guys deserve to know what the heck's happening and why there hasn't been anything. There is no abandonment. There's no intent to ever stop making content here. It's just circumstances have kind of made it prohibitive to do it, unfortunately. And it's should be like it's like a 99.9% guarantee that by next year there will be consistent content back here on Trippin Outdoors. So with that said, thank you for sticking with the channel and me and trusting that it is going to happen and this is going to come back and all that. I really appreciate that. It's kind of motivating and it's really cool. So yeah, just know it's not abandoned and I'm going to continue to make content for sure. I do have some footage that that I've recorded that I could actually put out in kind of like a single video compilation or something of some of the antics I got up to this year or whatever. That would actually pretty much fit with this channel, but well, roughly, technically, but I just haven't had the confidence or the will to want to actually output that here because, again, like it's off a technicality, it technically fits really roughly. But then again, it's also a compilation, so it's just like choppy clips from random different moments or different points this year, which just seems kind of weird. But then again, you can let me know if you're willing to see that too. Just little compilations of different nature-fied moments or, you know, things like that. That's it. So stay safe out there, and hopefully I'll be seeing you sooner rather than later next year with some more adventures, especially considering, again, the whole great thing with the car is I can go a lot more places, a lot further whenever I want. I don't have to worry about like waking up extremely early or whatever else. It's pretty neat. So yeah, see you around.